Guys, I just thought, seeing as we're only be running 5 minutes behind, it's not going to make a difference. Guys, I just thought, because we're only be running 5 minutes behind anyway, we might as well just restart quickly. It's only a practice. Yeah, it don't mean much, it's only a practice. We're only going to be running 5 minutes behind. I saw the timer at like a minute and a half. I now thought, if I stick a 5 minute practice on, we're only going to be running a tiny bit behind. You were about 1 or 2 minutes away from getting in actually before the cut-off. Yeah, it's actually a crime. You can actually like get done for like driving without due diligence and shit. I think I should. But I should always take a point of view for conspiring to do it. Even though you didn't actually do it, but you spoke about it at great length. So, I have reason to believe that you planned on doing it, even though you didn't actually partake in it. Who are we? There's one more person. There should be. We should have 14 because we should have 13 drivers. Yeah. Who have we? Yeah, because we should have. Should say 14. Yeah, 100%. Should say 14. No, Mike's here. Ozzy. Is Ozzy not here? Alright. Oh, you know what? I don't think he might. He might not have showed up on Players Met. I bet you he's sat there raging to him like, why are we restarting? Here we go. Oh. Right then. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, yep. Oh, you not. Oh, you're fucking taking a piss. Not again. Oh, not again. It won't let me do the fucking. Oh. Hello. Yeah, couldn't have gone better. Real smooth. Right, we shouldn't have any problems here because John Boy doesn't have to restart his game when it's only a lobby freeze. Practice, so you can all hear each other, so we don't have to set up a party chat, which overcomplicates my life massively. Right, who are we missing? One person we're fucking missing. Who the fuck are we missing? No, Ozzy's here. Who is it? Oh, there's always one. There's always fucking one. There we go. Let's go. Let's go. Cool. Oh, fuck. Oh, I'm so glad. Honestly, I'm so glad you're on the ball. Oh, my God. Okay, right, so it's really all it's going to be this. It'll be Leo P1, Thoris P2, Papa P3, Charlie P4, Team P5, Aussie P6, Craig P7, Nick P8, Jay P9, Mutz P10, Cobb P11, Harlock P12, John Boy P13, Mike P... No, hold on, fuck, I've gone wrong somewhere. Oh, fuck. Nick's not here. Oh, hold on. No, hold on. What? No, hold on. No, hold on. 1 second. 1 second. So Craig was P7, and then yeah, Jay P8, Mutz P9, Cobb P10, Harlock P11, John Boy P12, Mike P13. Done. Sorted. Oh my God! What a day! What a day! Audio check, audio check. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We are back here for the final round of the Touring Car Championship here for Season 13 on Project Cars 2. The BTCC, the second season in a row that we've done a BTCC, and the championship this time around between, there are currently 5 drivers coming into tonight with a shout, a realistic prospect of winning this championship. What a season we've had. It's been so tight, it's been so tense between all of the drivers. We would have had 6 drivers in contention for the championship tonight if it wasn't for the fact that Nick De Villa has gone on holiday to Lanzarote for this final round, so he's not out on track here for this one. So what a shame that he couldn't make it for this last round of the season, but we have still got a lot of drivers who could potentially take it here this evening. Just want to say a warm welcome to Totally Zero K dropping in to give support here in the comments section. One of our biggest fans on the channel, always chimes in and says hello during our streams on any one of the 3 titles that we do streams on and championships on. That's Project Cars 2, ACC and F1. But yeah, big warm welcome to you, Totally Zero K. Hope you're doing well tonight, and thanks for giving the boys some support out on track here tonight, as we've got 13 drivers in this session right now. And as I said before, 5 drivers out on track tonight do have a mathematical shot at winning the championship. And it's not just a mathematical shot, all 3 of these guys, I'd say, have a realistic shout at winning it as well. But I'm going to go through the championship standings here coming into tonight. So it is John Boy who leads the championship. He sits on 692 points at the top of the leaderboard. He is 25 points clear of this man here, Captain Harlock, who sits in second on 667. 30 points behind the championship leader is Cobb, who sits in 3rd place on 662. He's only 5 behind Captain Harlock. And then you've got the Mutz Nuts, who sits in 4th in the standings in this season so far on 636 in 4th place. He's 56 points off of the championship leader John Boy. And then just outside of the top 4, you've got Jay, who sits in 5th in the standings on 629 points. He is 63 points off of your championship leader John Boy. But the big thing about Jay tonight is that he doesn't have to carry 100 litres in his car. The other 4, John Boy, Harlock, Cobb and the Mutsnuts, they all have to carry 100 litres tonight. As per the rules, the top 4 have to carry 100 litres of ballast in their car at every single round. So Jay could have potentially been onto a bit of a winner in this final round of the season by not being one of those drivers. So John Boy has to carry 100 litres, Captain Harlock carrying 100 litres as well. You got Cobb carrying 100 litres, and also the Mutsnuts there with 100 litres in his car. The rule that everybody has to carry 100 litres in their car is basically there from, it's been in there for the last couple of seasons, and it's there to try and even out a bit of the advantage that that obviously the top drivers in the championship do have in terms of pace. But I tell you what, Jay's lack of 100 litres here is currently serving him quite well here in this first practice. He's on a 130.1. As I say that though, John Boy there has done a 130 dead in the slipstream of I believe Aussie Albie there. So Aussie Albie towing John Boy along in this qualifying session, sorry, this practice session, and really giving him a bit of a run here. So what a lap there from John Boy, knocking at the doors of the 129s with 100 litres in his car. That is a scorching pace here from him. And John Boy tonight is looking to try and make it 3 championships here in the touring car division at Motive. He's won 2 before. They were both in the Renault Megane, so it will be 3 championships in the same car if he's able to do it this tonight. Obviously he's oh no, his voltmeter is disconnected. Oh god, what a shame there. Well, we can't restart again. We've already restarted once. But yeah, John Boy trying to make it 3 touring car championships here at Motive Racing. He's driven the last couple of seasons in the Mercedes and drove in the BMW the season before that, so he's had a really rough couple of seasons. But tonight and over the course of this season, he's been driving in his beloved Renault Megane, and he has been a revelation. The last couple of seasons we haven't seen the John Boy that we grew accustomed to seeing, but tonight are we going to be seeing John Boy returning to where he belongs and grabbing another championship here. Since the resurgence of Motive Racing's Project Cars 2 leagues, the champions have been Jay and Mike. Jay obviously won season 10, which was the first season back, and back in that season it was a straight fight between Jay and John Boy, to be fair. Always John Boy's lost it coming out of the final corner, but yeah, that was a straight fight which Jay came out on top of throughout the whole season. But this season John Boy's just had the upper hand. He sits 63 points ahead of Jay, but as I said before, Jay with the lack of having to carry 100 litres here tonight will have a very strong chance of upsetting that leaderboard, which currently has him in 5th place. But with the 4 guys ahead of him having to carry their ballast, it might prove to be his lucky night. But we have currently got a few seconds of this practice remaining as Mike's got P1 there. So Mike Gaming, our reserve for tonight, going P1 by 0.04 of a second. A very tight gap here at the front. You've got 0.3 of a second covering the top 5, so it's oh so close here on this leaderboard. But Mike Gaming there doing the fastest lap of the session, a 130 per dead, almost in the 129s, and with 100 litres as well. So racing as a reserve tonight. Mike, he hasn't been able to race in every single race this season for the touring cars. I think including tonight he's made 6 out of the 8 rounds, so he's had a fair amount of attendance this season, to be fair, but he hasn't been able to make every round, and as such will not be a 3-time champion tonight, despite the fact that he's won the last 2 championships here for the touring cars. I'll be interested actually to know where he is in the standings based on his results from this season, because he wouldn't be that far out of the top 4 if he had actually been in the championship, but ultimately not scoring points as a reserve this season, so we're not sure. I could actually find out. That might be something to look at. But nonetheless, Mike Gaming taking the fastest time in the practice session ahead of John Boy, who goes P2. Jay and Cobb in 3rd and 4th places for the first practice of the night here. We've got Dean Fox in the comments there saying, "Come on, Paul lad," getting behind his friend Park Pooper Rex, who will be lining up in, where will he be lining up? Park will actually be lining up in 3rd place on the grid here tonight, so he's got a good chance here of getting some decent work done here in this first race of the night. But the championship battle is where I think everybody's, I think where most of us are going to be sort of looking here tonight, with 5 drivers in contention, as I've said. John Boy here leading the championship coming into this one on 692 points, 25 points clear of Captain Harlock, who sits in 2nd on 667. You've got Cobb in 3rd place on 662, 30 points off for the lead, with the Mutsnuts sat in 4th place in the standings. He is on 636 points, and he is 56 behind the championship leader John Boy. Jay in 5th place in the championship, 63 points behind the championship leader John Boy on 629 points. But as I said before, Jay does not have to carry 100 litres in his car. All of the other top guys do, so it's going to be a a real chance here for Jay to possibly win his second touring car championship here at Motive. There are 2 drivers tonight who are multiple well, 3 actually. No, there's 2 multiple champions here tonight. Those are John Boy and Mike. Mike obviously a reserve this season, so hasn't been able to be here for every round. But John Boy, a 2-time champion, looking to try and make it his 3rd championship. And Jay as well, who's looking to try and make it his 2nd title here in the touring cars. We've got Robert Rolonsky there saying, made it just in time, he says. That's Robe, who races with us in the ACC GT3 championship on a Sunday night. Did actually win the Tier 2 championship last season. And he is looking to try and challenge the top guys in the Tier 1s for this coming season. And I really do need to get the sign-ups up because I still haven't got those up yet. But the plan is to get them up tomorrow because I was supposed to have a day off today, but I got called into work because they needed some help. So I kind of like dropped everything at about 2 o'clock this afternoon to go and help out for a bit. And that kind of just, I just didn't really get a chance to crack on with the things. But it is what it is, and obviously, you know, I made that decision myself, so I've only got myself to blame. But ultimately, those sign-ups will probably be getting out tomorrow. I'll try and catch up on a bit of admin work tomorrow as I do have a day off, so that should be a good opportunity to get that done. But yeah, currently we're on the formation lap here, getting ready for the final round. Obviously there's 3 races tonight. This is the first of the 3, the final round of season 13 for the Touring Car Championship. And Emma there in the comments saying, can't wait to see who wins. Been a great season so far. Have a good night, Aussie. Getting behind her other half, Aussie Albie, who obviously has been racing throughout the entire 4 seasons since the resurgence of the Project Cars 2 leagues here at Motive. He's been a pivotal part of the leagues here, and always great to have Aussie out on track. And yeah, Emma as always chiming in, giving us support to a significant other, but obviously to everybody else as well. She's always very supportive of the channel and just everything that we do here at Motive. So yeah, thanks Emma as always. Day666 saying, good luck, looking forward to the finale, he says. Day obviously has been racing with us this season for the Touring Car Championship, but unfortunately couldn't make it here tonight, but still checking out the stream and voicing his support for the guys who are out on track. So good to see Day also races with us in the ACC GT3 Championship on a Sunday night in the Tier 2s. So yeah, he's also a big part of the leagues here at Motive. But we are just coming round towards the final part of the lap for the formation lap here, the final round of the season, first race of the night here, first race of 3. And Doris Tier is going to lead us down towards that final chicane, and then once we get out of that chicane, it'll be up to Doris Tier as when we get going racing for this final round of the season, this first race of the night here at Silverstone Classic. As here we come, I reckon Doris will try and go about now, try and catch him off guard if he can. As he's playing around a little bit here, and I tell you what, he's been absolutely robbed here. Park Pooper Rex has timed his run absolutely perfectly coming into turn 1. Park Pooper's going to make the move, I'm sure, into Cop's corner as we're side by side, and Park Pooper there is going to take the lead, but Doris Deer's going to try and hold it around the outside as he pushes him to the edge of the track there. As Park Pooper, as Charlie Goff has looked to have mugged both of them here on the exit of Cop's corner. Down towards Magus and Beck as we come. Has Charlie Goff got the run here? You can see Park Pooper's just got a little bit of his car alongside him, but Charlie Goff, I think, is going to have that move done coming up through Magus, and Park Pooper's going to try and look back around the outside as Doris Deer's lost out to Team MW. I think, no, Team MW couldn't get it done, so Doris Deer still in 3rd place, but it's Charlie Goff going from 3rd to 1st there in the first couple of corners. He leads ahead of Park Pooper, followed by Doris Deer. You've got Team MW there in 4th place ahead of Aussie Albie, followed by Jay, who's made a very quick start there up into 6th place. He's ahead of Craig, followed by the Mutts Nuts, who's ahead of Cobb, Captain Harlock, John Boy, and Mike Gaming at the back of the pack right now. But Charlie Goff making an absolute flyer of a start there, getting ahead of the 2 guys in front of him. As you can see, Doris Deer going a bit wide there, coming through Stowe corner. Team MW seems to have got ahead of him for the time being. In the background, Captain Harlock going a bit wide, has lost out to John Boy. So John Boy's up into P10 here in this race so far. As we see a bit of a slide there from Aussie. Oh, and he's just caught Jay up a little bit there. And Jay very lucky to get through. Aussie there, where is he falling back down to? Actually, Aussie survived that one quite well, but Jay's lost a few places. Was it Captain Harlock maybe? I don't think it was Captain Harlock. It was Craig actually who came off worse in that. It was Aussie losing it, went into Craig. Jay lost a couple of places as well, but seems to have got through it relatively unscathed compared to Craig. But a bit of drama here on this opening lap, nothing too major at the moment, as we see side by side there between Captain Harlock and Mike. And Mike there tucking in for the time being, knows that Captain Harlock is one of the championship contenders tonight, does not want to get involved in that, or does not want to be the thorn in the side here for Captain Harlock tonight. As Charlie Goff wide onto the grass, the race leader's gone into the wall there, coming out of Cop's corner, and his Park Pooper Rex going to get him. No, he's too far back, so Charlie Goff getting away with that one there. But I tell you what, that was very close there for him. but it's Charlie Goff still leading the race ahead of Parker Rex. Team MW there in third place ahead of Doris Steer. You've got about a second back to Cobb, who's running in fifth, followed by John Boy, as Jay's looking around the outside here of Aussie Albie. Aussie Albie's just got the inside, as we can see there. We can see in the background that is the Mutts Nuts going very wide there, coming out of Beckett. So horrible mistake there from the Mutts Nuts. But back to the battle for the lead. We've got Charlie, Team MW looking on the outside here of Park Hooper coming into Stowe Corner. Park Hooper's got the inside covered off by the looks of it, and Team MW's going to have to tuck in. In fact, he might lose out to Doris Deer. Doris Deer's got a bit of a run here as they come down through towards Club Corner. And Team MW does stay ahead of Doris Deer for the time being. Did he get a bit of a tap there? I'm not sure. He goes a bit wide there, this Team MW, but keeps ahead of Doris Deer for the time being. But Charlie, Park Hooper, Team MW, Doris Deer, the top four. You've got Cobb there hunting them down very quickly. So Cobb is currently the highest runner of the championship contenders here. He's up into fifth place. He's not too far off of the leaders at all. He's within 2 seconds now of the leaders. In the background, we've got John Boy, who's just in front of this battle here between Jay and Ozzy, should I say. And Jay's looking down the inside of Aussie Albie and has got the move done there up into P7. So Jay can now try and chase down Cobb and John Boy, who are just in front of him. Aussie Albie's got Captain Harlock just behind him, and Captain Harlock goes a bit wide, and Mike looks down the inside and gets the move done. And Craig's going to follow him through as well here. And in fact, Craig is looking down the inside of Mike here, coming into Cobbs. So he can be able to make that move. I think Mike's going to have that one held onto around the outside, and Mike maintaining ninth place for the time being. Will this all go here in the opening few laps, as Craig didn't get a great run at all coming out of Cobb's corner, and Captain Harlock's going to get this one done coming down towards Maggots. So Captain Harlock up into 10th place here in this first race of the night here for the final race of the season here at the Touring Car Championship season 13. Jazzman there in the comments saying, Andy! Hello Jazzman, good to see you in the comments, mate. As always, our GT3 champion on for the tier 1s on ACC. But there is Charlie Goff leading by just under 2 seconds. There's Park Hooper ahead of Cobb. You've got side by side here between John Boy and Doris Deer. Doris is looking down the inside into Stowe Corner, but it looks as though John Boy's just going to keep it around the outside, is he? Oh, Doris Deer is trying to impose himself here on John Boy, but John Boy looks to have got that one completed there. In fact, now Jay's going to get Doris Deer coming down towards Club Corner. So Jay moves through a position there. As in the background there, you've got Mike keeping it around the outside of Aussie Albie up into 8th place. Aussie's got a load of cars behind him here. Captain Harlock looking to try and seize the initiative here, but Captain Harlock there for the time being having to tuck in. But Craig, I tell you what, has got a great run here on Aussie Albie. Had to just back out a little bit there. Had to take evasive action to avoid going onto the grass. He's still on the inside here though of Aussie Albie as they're coming down towards the final chicane. As Aussie's trying to hold it around the outside, he goes late on the brakes, but he's going to be a bit offline here for the second part of the chicane. Needs to be careful here as Craig squeezes through, and Aussie's going to lose out here to Captain and the Mutts Nuts as well. So those guys moving themselves through up a position each, as Captain Harlock looking to the inside here of Craig in towards Cops Corner. He's going to have to be a bit aggressive there as Captain, but he's got the move done there up into 9th place. But Captain Harlock and the Mutts Nuts of the championship contenders, these two really struggling, and currently it's advantage here for Cobb, John Boy and Jay, who are up into 3rd, 4th and 5th places respectively. So these three have had a relatively clear passage in the opening stages of this race, and they're currently within, all three of them, within 2 seconds of the race leader Charlie Goff. But Jay needs to be outscoring Cobb and John Boy, because currently he is losing points to them, and he sits 60 points behind John Boy in the championship. John Boy currently in a prime position in this first race of the night to extend his championship lead if he can get ahead of Cobb as well. But Cobb is got ahead of Park Hooper up into 2nd place, so Cobb is making a very strong progress indeed here, and he's now only got the race leader Charlie Goff in front of him as John Boy makes the move down the inside of Park Hooper Rex as well, coming through Cobb as John Boy very wide there onto the grass, and Jay will be seeing that and will be taking some solace from that, as he knows he's got to finish ahead of him if he wants to close the gap in the championship. But Park Hooper, they're going a bit wide, but Jay's unable to capitalise at the moment as Park Hooper now looking to the outside here. John Boy didn't get a great run coming down towards the chicane. As Jay looking down the inside here of Park Hooper, and he's going to make that move, and does he get it done? He just about gets it done as John Boy. John Boy's got huge damage. John Boy hits the tyres coming through the chicane. And John Boy's dusted coming out the final corner, coming through Woodcote. John Boy here down to 8th place, and he's got huge damage on the front of that car. And the championship leader, he came into this leading the championship by 60 odd points. He's in last place, and that is the worst place in the lap to get damage, because he's got to drive the whole lap with damage, and so he's not going to be able to get to the pits very soon. And John Boy here in huge trouble in this race, and this is going to give a huge lifeline to Jay. He's running in 3rd place right now, but also Cobb as well. Cobb will be in a potential championship lead taking position after this first race. As things stand in this race, I think Cobb will be the championship leader. If things stay as they are right now, he will be the new championship leader coming into the second and third races of tonight. So Cobb leading us around here, and Charlie Goff on the back of him. What can he do in this battle for the lead? But Jay there running in third place right now, right behind these guys. And can Jay bring the gap down to Cobb and Charlie? Obviously Jay without his 100 litres in his car. Cobb has got 100 litres in his car, as Jay there ever so wide there going out of club corner. But he's keeping the gap to these two and around the same at the moment. So this could be a huge opportunity here for Jay and also for Cobb as well. And where are the other championship contenders? We currently got Captain Harlock down in 8th place, but he's got ahead of Aussie. But Aussie's giving it a fight. Oh my, no, careful guys. Oh, Captain Harlock bins it there under the bridge into the wall. He's got damage on the car as well. Aussie Albie seems to have come off badly in that one, but Captain Harlock has got his front bumper hanging off. And is he going to come into the pits, or is he going to stick it out? He's going to stay out on track and go for the points here. As Doris Steer spinning on his way into the pits. So this is turning into an absolute nightmare for multiple drivers here in this race. Aussie Albie into the pits. Doris Steer struggling. John Boy into the pits. No surprise there with his huge damage. But Captain Harlock looking to grin and bear it here in this race. He's staying out on track for the time being. Currently running in 9th place at the moment. But what an unbelievable development here in this race. Aussie, Doris and John Boy all in the pits. Captain Harlock struggling. I tell you what, it's Captain Harlock all but out of this championship battle. I fear now in his first race of the night. But certainly Cobb and Jay have been handed an absolute lifeline here, with John Boy with huge damage leading the championship. John Boy coming into this race by 25 points. Captain Harlock not really in a position to capitalise on it, but he will still close the gap to John Boy. Let's say that at least. But Cobb here could be in a prime position. Will be leading the championship by quite some way going into this second race of the night as things stand. So this is a huge, huge opportunity here for Cobb and for Jay as well, who's now in second place ahead of Charlie Goff. What unbelievable developments here in this first race of the night for the Touring Car Championship at Motive. The season finale, the championship decider. There's currently half a second separating the top three right now as they're coming through the final chicane here on lap 7. But it's Cobb, Jay and Charlie Goff. Here we go. And Charlie Goff could be the thorn in the side for both of these two here. Or will he stay out of this battle knowing that they're in the championship fight? What are Cobb and Jay going to do now? Because they both need to. They both want to be taking points off of each other. Are they going to play it sensible, knowing that they're both in a really good position to close the gap to John Boy, or are they going to fight it out? Jay has got a bit of a run here, actually, coming down towards Magnus and Beckett. And I'll tell you what, Jay might fancy the lead here. He's looking around the outside. Cobb's still there, but Jay, I think, has got the move done there, up into the lead. Goes a little bit wide there, gets a bit of a slide coming through Magnus and Beckett's, but Jay moves himself through. And on the exit of Chapel Curve, it's now Jay, your new race leader here, the Season 10 champion of the Touring Car Division, looking to try and make it 2 championships here tonight. The outsider coming into this final round could have been handed an absolute opportunity here to take his second championship in this league. As he comes through Stowe Corner right now, he's your new race leader. Cobb there in second, Charlie Goff currently sat in third place. You've got a bit of a battle going on in the background there between Team MW and Park Pooper as they're coming down towards Club Corner. In the background you've got the Mutts Nuts there running in 6th place, just ahead of Mike Gaming. And then you've got Captain Harlock with his damage, but he's well clear of the others who all had to come into the pits. And in fact Craig's out and got damage as well, so Craig's had to come in, and that's promoted Captain up another position there. So Aussie, Craig, Thorist and John Boy all having to pit for damage. So Captain Harlock, it's not as bad as it could have been in this race, that's for sure. He's still going to gain points on John Boy, who is going nowhere. Let's be real. I think he's definitely going to be sat in the pits for most of this race with the damage that he had. Let's be real. His bonnet, his actual bonnet came off. So yeah, he's not going to be he's not going to be moving for a while. But obviously Captain Harlock running in 8th place will still close the gap to John Boy, but he's losing points to Jay and Cobb, who are currently running in 1st and 2nd right now as they're coming down towards Maggots and Beckett's here for the 9th time in this race. My foot is jiggling and I'm getting nervous here. This is how exciting this final race of the season is. There's so much at stake between the 5 championship contenders. Currently 2 of them in the top 2 places here. But Jay, the outsider, the man who came into tonight 63 points off of the championship lead, could have been presented with a golden opportunity to bring himself into this fight. He's obviously the one-time champion of the touring cars here at Motive. John Boy, the 2-time champion, and Mike also a 2-time champion. But as I said, he's a reserve this season. Only raced in 6 of the 8 rounds so far this season, so he will not be He's not in the championship picture, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But we got Day in the comments saying, this is entertaining. We Tony's okay, we need a safety car. And Robe, they're saying, definitely punching the air right now. Who is your money on tonight, Robe? Who are you supporting? Let us know. But Jay and Cobb here running in first and second as they're coming down towards the chicane. Cobb trying to have a look, trying to put the pressure here on Jay. Jay just needs to keep his cool here out the front. He's got what he needs here, and he will be probably, I think, I'd say within 20 points of the championship lead after this race. If his own fate could be in his own hands after this race. Let's say, for example, that he were to win the next two races and take the hat-trick, which is unlikely, let's be real, because we don't see many drivers dominating a whole event like that. But at least it would be in his hands, that's what I'm trying to say. So it would give him a real momentum push here. At least it would be in his hands, that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, this is an unbelievable turn of events here in this first race of the night. But it's currently Jay Cobb and Charlie Goff here, separated by just over half a second as we're coming towards the closing stages of this first race of the night. We've got Nick Gwinnett saying in the comments, this is turning out interesting. That's Nick the Villa there, who's enjoying what he's watching right now. Could have been in the fight, albeit with a very, very, very long shot of winning the championship. But he's actually out. He's actually in Lanzarote at the moment, is Nick the Villa. So good to see you, mate. Thank you for chiming in and checking out the stream here. And hopefully you're enjoying your holiday. Hopefully you're having more fun than you would be if you were at the sim rig. But what a show these guys are putting on right now as they're coming through Club Corner again. And it's still Jay leading ahead of Cobb and Charlie Goff. Charlie, not in the championship fight like these two are, has got a lot less to lose. But obviously he's going to be quite aware of the fact that these two guys in front of him have got a lot at stake, and probably will be a bit more cautious about trying to overtake them than he would in an ordinary situation. Cobb looking to the inside here on Jay into the chicane, but tucks in for the time being. But Jay with the advantage without 100 litres in his car. Saying that though, this is a track where the 100 litres doesn't make too much of a difference. So if there's one track where it's not really going to gain you much not having it in, it would be here. So it makes probably about half a second a lap of difference at most, I would say, on personal experience. So, and obviously in the slipstream that is almost inconsequential. So but yeah, at the moment Jay has the ascendancy here as they're coming into Maggots and Beckett's once again. Bit of a lock up there from Jay as he has to defend the inside line. Had to take a tighter line. That would have compromised his exit slightly. But Cobb here, I don't think has got enough of a run here as they're coming out of Chapel Curve. Down the hanger straight we go once again. And Jay's got enough of a cushion here. But Charlie Goff attacking. And I tell you what, Cobb has got a bit of a run here down towards Stowe Corner. Down the hanger straight we go. I think Cobb might be taking the lead here into Stowe Corner. Jay's going to try and hold it around the outside. Is he going to keep it there, or is he going to go for the cutback? Jay's not sure what he's going to do. But indecisive there as to what he wanted to do. And ultimately Cobb takes the lead here as they come now down towards Club Corner again. Jay looking to the outside. Has to tuck in because Cobb's got the inside covered off. But Jay might be able to get a better run here coming down towards the chicane as Cobb go a bit wide. Oh, it's Charlie in the back going wide, and so is Team MW as well. And I'll tell you what, with these two contenders battling, it's actually allowed Team MW and Parpooper to close the gap a little bit. Team MW is now within a second of the lead here. So this is incredible stuff. But Cobb and Charlie side by side coming into the chicane. Jay there right in the background as he dives up the inside of the chicane. Moves himself through into second. Cobb a bit wide there onto the runoff. But Jay there managing to get the move back down on Charlie. Charlie they're getting a run here. Coming out of the final corner. Down the start finish straight we go. Here goes Charlie Goff. Looking down the inside here into Cobb's corner. Can he get this one done on the brakes? I think he is going to get it done as Jay looking to go for a cutback here out of Cobb's corner. And Charlie goes a little bit wide. Jay there getting the position back up into P2 again. Great racing from these guys, and Jay's not giving up here. Charlie Goff is now going to be overtaken by Team MW, who's looking down the inside in towards Maggots. And Team MW needs to be careful here because he's got Jay right in front of him. And in fact, he actually was very cautious there and ultimately lost out to Charlie as a result. So Charlie holding on to third place for the time being. Robert Rodonsky there saying Cobb will pull off a masterclass in the final 2 minutes. Currently, Cobb is in P1 in this race and looking to really gain points on John Boy. Oh, it's Jay trying to squeeze Charlie coming into Stowe Corner. He's saying, no, don't even think about it, Charlie. Not in your wildest dreams, sunshine. Are you going to make a move up the inside of me there? As Charlie there wide onto the grass there. He will lose out to Team MW as a result, or will he? No, he won't. In fact, he's still ahead of him. So they're both getting it a bit wrong there coming through Stowe. Jay also didn't get a great run either. But Jay very wide there, coming out club, really getting it horribly wrong, but keeping in the slipstream of Cobb at the moment as Team MW and Charlie now battling here as they come through this fast left-hander, and this is allowing Part Pooper to really get onto the back of these guys as well now, as he's looking to the outside of Charlie Goff, down towards the chicane we go. Is Part Pooper going to make the move here on Charlie? No, he tucks in for the time being. But the gap between Cobb and Jay, about half a second right now. Oh, Jay, careful, 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 mate. Come on, come on. Oh, he's lost out here to Team Charlie and Part Pooper as well. So Jay down to P5 here on this last lap. He needs to hold this together because he's currently gaining points on John Boy and Captain Harlock. Hold it together, mate. Just keep calm, keep it cool. But Cobb, I tell you what, he is definitely in the strongest position here. Coming into the second and third races of the night, he's got to be the favourite, I'd say, going into at the end of this first race one, because he is absolutely flying around this Silverstone Classic, and what a season it would be for him if he were to take this championship. But John Boy's not going to let him off the hook. You can be sure of that. The gap between them coming into this race, 25 points, and John Boy will finish in 12th place by the looks of it, with Cobb in the lead as it stands. Cobb would score 50 points, and Cobb would score 50 points. John Boy would score 9 points, so it'd be a 41-point gain altogether for Cobb. That's excluding fastest laps at this stage. So obviously we'll come to that in a bit. But 41-point gain, that would mean that Cobb would be leading the championship by 16 points. Going into the second race of the night, obviously with 2 races left in this season. Jill Silver in there says, "Hello Andy, good race, bro." Yeah, it is indeed. It's very exciting here. But we've got Cobb coming into the final few corners here. He's going to take the first one of the night. Jay's got ahead of Part Pooper, so getting a couple of extra points here. Can he get Charlie? No, he can't. But Cobb takes the first win ahead of Team MW. Charlie takes third ahead of Jay. So Jay getting 4th place in the end. The Mutts Nuts takes home P5. With Part Pooper, who's lost it, coming to the final chicane, so he might lose out. No, Mike backs out of it actually and lets them carry on. So Part Pooper there over in P6. Mike takes 7th. Captain Harlock is going to come around with a heavily damaged car in 8th place. So he'll be round in due course. But Cobb here taking the championship lead after the first race of the night. So yeah, it's going to be advantage Cobb in these final 2 races of the season, which are coming up straight away here. Jay still gaining points on John Boy, scoring a P4 compared to John Boy in P12. So Jay will score 27 points more than John Boy will. So Jay within 36 points now of the championship lead, I believe, if my maths are correct, but there's no way of knowing until the final race is over. Basically just because Simply Pro doesn't update until you've completed the whole event, so we won't know until the final race. I will actually jot it down on a piece of paper just so that we have some idea. So yeah, there we go. That is the final result there for the first race. Cobb, Team MW, and Charlie Goff taking the podium positions there. So Cobb there scoring 50 points. We've got the fastest lap. Fastest lap goes to Jay. Gets the fastest lap, so Jay gets the couple of bonus points. So he scores 47 points. Cobb scores 50, obviously for the win. John Boy there scoring 9 points for 12th. Captain Harlock managed to score 20 points for 8th. And Mutts Nuts, P5, still in with a mathematical chance, I think, but not sure. But yeah, stick around, guys, because we'll be back for the second race in a few moments' time. Right guys, I'm just quickly doing the championship standings with a pen and paper, so I'm just going to work it out right now. And I'm going to double check to make sure I've got it right afterwards as well. Right then everybody, welcome back to the Motive Racing channel. We're here for the second race of the night here for the Touring Car Championship. I've done the maths and the situation in the championship is currently this. We have a new championship leader in the shape of Cobb, who is currently leading the way on 712 points after taking the win in the first race of the night. He sits 11 points clear of John Boy, who sits in second on 701. And then Captain Harlock sits in third on 687 points. Only 25 points off of the championship lead, so certainly not out of the running yet, that's for sure. And then you've got you've got the Mutsnut sat in fourth on 668 points. He's only 44 points off of the lead, I think, if my maths are correct. Yeah, 44 points off the championship lead. Then you've got Jay sat in 5th place, 47 points off the championship lead on 665. So you've got still all 5 in contention, but now it's looking, you know, unless Jay has an absolute stormer and Capcom has a shocker, you'd say that Jay and Mutsnut's probably out of it, but certainly not mathematically yet. They are still in with a shout. They could still potentially do it, but you would need the other guys to have an absolute horror show. But you know, that's always possible. But I would say, realistically at this point, I would say the 3 guys in contention are probably Cobb, John Boy and Captain Harlock. And Cobb and John Boy certainly very close. 11 points separating those two going into the final 2 races of this season. So all still to play for here at Silverstone Classic. And this one that we're watching right now is the only qualifying session of the night. The middle race is always the quali. The first and third races are always the reverse grid. The first race being the reverse grid based on the championship standings, and the third race being the reverse grid based on the results from this race. So yeah, it's all a little bit complicated, but that's essentially how it works out. Parker Rex is in the pits at the moment. He always tends to not set a lap in the qualifying. He tends to like to start from the back. Probably wants to stay out of trouble, but let's be real, wants to keep himself well out of the way of all the carnage that could potentially go on. But we've got Cobb there setting the fastest time, and Jay just goes and beats that there on a 129.9 with a bit of slipstream there, with a little bit of help from what looks to be Craig, I think. So yeah, Craig there giving Jay a great tow, and Jay currently on provisional pole position. Jay knows he needs to really pull it out of the bag here in this second race. If he fails to outscore Cobb in this second race of the night, then he will actually be out of the championship going into the final race. So he needs to outscore Cobb, and by quite a bit, if he is to keep his chances of taking this championship realistically alive. But certainly if he wants to keep them mathematically alive, he has to finish ahead of Cobb in this second race. As we see a bit of contact there between Jay and I think it was Jay and Ozzy there, who came together coming out of Chapel Curve. But no dramas, it's only qualifying. Jay currently on provisional pole, unless somebody can find a bit of time here at the end. He should be able to hold on to that. He's currently half a second clear of this man. Cobb, who sits in second place right now on this qualifying leaderboard. But coming towards the end of this qualifying session, can anybody find that that magic bit of time here to take that pole position away from Jay? We've got Captain Harlock here coming into the final chicane. He'll get another lap after this as well, so this isn't the be-all end-all for Captain Harlock. Oh, as he goes into the wall there on the exit of the final corner. Doesn't look like he was able to improve just there. We've got Cobb coming through the final chicane. Is he going to improve and find half a second? He will get one more lap after this. He does improve, but not by enough to move himself ahead of Jay. Charlie Goff goes into P4. Craig does the time good enough for 7th place, but his session is done. Revolt Detailer still out there as he's coming down towards the final part of the lap. He's currently nearly 2/10 up on his personal best here. As here he comes into the final chicane. What can Revolt Detailer do here? That's John Boy, only P8 in this qualifying session. So, huge shock there for John Boy. And this is only going to hand in the impetus to Cobb in this championship battle. Captain Harlock, P6, not a great qualifying for him. So the championship contenders, aside from Jay and Cobb, struggling here in this second race, like we saw in the first race. But Jay really needs Cobb to struggle in these final 2 races to have a realistic shot here. And Cobb has currently had a very, very strong night. He's had a perfect run of it so far, let's be honest. But that is that for the qualifying session. Then Jay taking pole position ahead of Mike, who will line up alongside him on the front row. So Mike Gaming, our reserve, our 2-time champion, obviously not this season as he's racing as a reserve this season, but he'll line up alongside Jay on the front row with Cobb and Charlie on the second row. But yeah, this is a real battle, this championship. It's going to go down to the wire. I think we can be sure of that. Who's it going to be? Who's still going to be in with a shout going into this final race of the season? It's obviously the second to last race of the season. 3 races per night in the Touring Car Championship here at Motive Racing on Project Cars 2. 12 of you currently watching the stream. Guys, if you're enjoying what you're watching, please do smash the like button as it helps us out. It really does. Obviously, it's great to see so many people watching live here on YouTube for the Championship Decider in what has been an absolute vintage Touring Car Championship this season here at Motive. It's a very long time since I remember seeing so many drivers actually in contention. The last time I remember a championship like this, I was actually racing in it, and the commentators that season had been Matt Imovic and Unorthodox. And I just remember that season we raced at Zhuhai for the final race of the season. I was in that championship fight. I remember I was one of about 6 drivers that had a shout at winning it, so very similar to what we have tonight. And I remember John Boy was in that fight as well, but that season he was racing in a Mercedes, and he actually ended up second in that season. It was Xmart who won that championship. Just pipped us all to that one, which I had a feeling he would, because he was the one who was closest to John Boy, and we all knew that John Boy had struggled that season for pace, and really it was his consistency that season that gave him a chance of winning the championship in the Merc. So I thought Xmart would have the best chance, and it turned out to be the case. I myself ended up having a problem with my wheel midway through that final feature race, which put me out of the running. But here we are then, lights are on at the head of the grid. We're about to go racing here for race 2, and it's lights out and away we go here. And Jay gets a good start as Charlie, very quick start on the inside there, gets ahead of Mike coming down towards Cops Corner. So Charlie up into P2 as here we come through the first corner for the first time. Charlie might have a radio on Jay as well, but Jay's surely going to hold it around the outside here and keeps on to P1. Charlie keeping himself there. Mike's lost out to Cobbs, so Cobbs up into 3rd place here. John Boy behind these guys in 5th has made an absolute electric start there. He's made up 3 places, although Captain Harlock's out, dragging him down towards Magus and Beckett, as has John Boy got ahead of Captain. Captain's got to move around the outside, I think, and is up into P5 as Cobb there making a move down the inside of Mike, coming through Beckett's. We've still got John Boy and Captain Harlock side by side here. Coming through Chapel we go as Captain Harlock just squeezing through ahead of John Boy. John Boy tucking in for the time being, but it's Jay ahead of Charlie, ahead of Cobb, with Mike, Captain, John Boy the top 6. You've got Craig there ahead of the Mutsnuts running in 8th place, followed by Revolt Detailer and Doris Steer completing the top 10. Then you've got Park Poop at Team MW, and Aussie has had a nightmare. He's had a bit of a spin, I think, at the start. He's dropped well off of the rest of the pack here on this opening lap. But it's Jay ahead of Charlie with Cobb right there as well, and it's a very, very tightly packed pack here, but they're all coming through club corner right now. Looks like there's no real drama so far as the Mutts Nuts has made the move on Team MW. Team MW not going to get a great run there coming through club, and in the foreground there we can see Doris Steer. They're going to get onto the grass. He's going to lose out to Park Poop. So Doris Steer down to P10. Not a great moment for him, but back to the leaders because Charlie Goff is looking to try and make a move here on Jay. Jay's in a sandwich here in the middle of Mike and Charlie, but Charlie, I think, is going to be out-dragged here. Mike and Jay getting ahead of him, and Charlie Goff losing out to Captain Harlock as well. So Captain Harlock up into third place. Jay here in second. But Cobb has had a nightmare of a first lap. What has happened to him? He's down to 7th place. So this could be music to Jay's ears because Jay moves through ahead of Mike up into the lead here. So Jay leading us into turn 1. And I'll tell you what, Jay and Mutts Nuts need to have a good result here in this second race of the night. Captain Harlock so-so. He's kind of like on the fringes of the 2 championship leaders, Cobb and John Boy, but yeah, Jay needs to win here in this second race. I think to have any shout of winning the championship, he needs to win this middle race, and he's currently doing what he has to do here. He gets a little bit onto the grass there, coming out of Beckett's, down through Matchapel we go. Mike's got a heck of a run here on Jay as we come down the hanger straight, but he's going to have to look to the outside because Jay very sensibly parking his car on the inside, covering off any potential advances here from Mike Gaming. They're side by side here coming down towards Stowe Corner. You can see Mike trying to go round the outside. Jay's going to have the inside line covered off, and it's going to keep on to the lead here as they come through Stowe. But Jay from Mike from Charlie, the top 3. Captain Harlock's lost out to Charlie, so he's wide there onto the grass as well. Was Captain Harlock coming out of Stowe Corner. Craig here has got John Boy looking to his inside into club, and John Boy is going to try and make that move. Craig a bit wide there onto the grass, really wide there, and John Boy there is going to move through without any dramas there up into 5th place. Craig's got Revolt Detail and Cobb right on the back of him, but Revolt Detail has got ahead of Cobb. So Cobb is dropping down the pack here in this middle race. He's keeping it around the outside of Revolt Detail. We're at the inside here for the final chicane. In the foreground, you've got a battle here going on between Jay and Mike still tucking in for the time being. Charlie and Captain Harlock right there on the back of these guys. But Cobb here managing to get ahead of Revolt Detail through the chicane. Revolt Detail getting a bit of a tap there from Park Pooper Rex as they come to the final corner. Is it back on there? The Mutts Nuts into the wall. Oh, and the Mutts Nuts has had an absolute horror show there. He's down to 12th with big damage on the car. And I think the Mutts Nuts' championship hopes have just gone up in smoke there. I don't think there's any way back for him now. He's down to 12th and he's well off of the leaders here. I think any hope that he had of taking this championship has now gone out of the window as Jay there tagging the bollard as they came through Beckett's, but Jay still leads ahead of Mike Gaming at the moment. A second currently separating the top 3, but it's Jay and Mike trying to pull out a bit of a gap here to Charlie and Captain Harlock, and then they're a little bit clear of John Boy, who's ahead of Craig right now. Cobb running in 7th place, has not had the second race of the night at all. Revolt Detail has got Team MW looking to try and make the move here as they come down the hanger straight, and Team MW I think is going to have the move done coming into Stowe Corner, so he makes the move there down the inside. Up into 8th place goes Team MW. Revolt Detail a little bit wide there coming out of Stowe, and there goes Park Pooper looking down the inside, but he's going to have to tuck in as they come down towards Club. Or is he? No, in fact, he's looking down the inside here. It's Park Pooper. He gives him a bit of a tap there. Oh, onto the run off a little bit there, and that's going to give Doris Steer a run around the outside, surely. No, it doesn't. But he loses out to Revolt Detailer there, so Park Pooper down to P10. In the meantime, Jay and Mike still separated by nothing as they're coming into the chicane. There's Captain just behind them. Charlie still running in 4th ahead of John Boy, who's starting to chip away at the leaders here. Cobb there in 7th place, the man who leads this championship going into this second race of the night. But currently John Boy outscoring him and will close that gap, but the man who's closing the gap to all of them here is this man right now, Jay, who has got the lead ahead of Mike Gaming. Captain Harlock there on the back of them right now, but the championship's still absolutely wide open. And with Captain and Charlie ahead of John Boy and Cobb and Craig in the mix as well. This is great news for Jay in the early stages of this second race of the night. But coming through Chapel Curve once again here on lap 4 of 13 for this one. Mike here almost underneath Jay as they're coming down towards Stowe, but Jay still has the lead just about. So you can see there John Boy making a move down the inside of Charlie Goff coming through Club, and I think he's got that one done. Yep, John Boy up into 4th. Charlie trying to come back at him here, coming down towards the fast left-hander, but he's going to have to tuck in for the time being. 3/10 of a second still separating the top three right now, as you can see them all coming down here like an aircraft in formation as they come into the chicane. But Mike still can't get anything done here with Jay at the moment. Through Copse we go for the 5th time in this second race. But what a race. What a championship it's been. And it's going to come down to the final race of the season, as John Boy's got ahead of Charlie, but Charlie's not giving this one up easily. Charlie's still on the inside coming down towards Maggots. They're still side by side. John Boy trying to hold it around the outside here, and he's done brilliantly there as John Boy, but Charlie might have the run hit out of Chapel, because he'll get a more easier run of it coming out onto the hanger straight. But no, John Boy's got that one done up into 4th place, so beautiful move there from John Boy. As Mike throwing a little feint to the inside there on Jay, trying to put him under a bit of pressure here, but Jay not falling to it at the moment. Cobb in P6 is now closing up onto the back of Charlie, but he's still got pressure here from Craig, so Cobb's got ahead of Craig up into P6, obviously the championship leader as of the first race of the night, having taken the win, but this second race has not been smooth sailing for Cobb at all. He's currently involved in a bit of a tussle here for 4th, which is being led by John Boy. Can these 4 start to close in on the top 3? Jay, Mike and Captain Harlock are still currently doing what they need to do right now. Captain Harlock's in a good position right now, 3rd place. He'll be gaining points on John Boy and Cobb. Oh, is Captain pushing Mike a bit wide there. Mike, I don't think, got a great run, and Captain had nowhere to go, but Mike tucks in for the time being. Mike not too happy with that. Bit of a flash there from him. There's Captain here, still ahead of Mike as they're coming down towards Maggots and Beckett's once again. As there we go, John Boy goes down the inside there, overshoots it a little bit. Oh no, Cobb! Oh no! Oh no, you couldn't make this up. Cobb is disconnected. Oh no. That is horrible. That is absolutely horrible. Oh no. In the meantime, John Boy's got ahead of Mike here up into 3rd, which is only going to help him out more and more. Captain Harlock's still running ahead of him at the moment, as John Boy looking on the back of Captain coming into the final chicane. Oh no, you can't. Oh, you really can't. I have no words for that. I really don't have any words. I'm still struggling to process what's just happened there, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Because Cobb came into this race with an 11-point lead, having won the first race of the night, but he is not going to score any points for this one. No, is Cobb disconnected? No, says Nick in the comments. Yes, unfortunately so. John Boy here looks like he's made the move on Captain, but Captain's coming back at him on the exit of Chapel. Captain Harlock back up into 2nd. John Boy keeping it there. We'll have a better run down the hanger straight, but he's got a load of cars behind him. Captain Mike Gaming and Charlie Goff right there, as well as Craig. But John Boy has the inside covered off here as they come into Stowe Corner. Charlie a bit wide there coming out of Stowe. So John Boy there up into P2, but he's got Craig still behind him. Charlie and Captain are side by side, and Charlie's, oh, he's just squeezing through. Oh, Captain all over the place as he goes wide there, coming out of Woodcote. Might lose out here to Charlie, and he does, and Charlie moves through. Might get me losing touch with the guys ahead, but John Boy in second place here in this one, and suddenly the championship looking to be back within his grasp once again. Unless Captain Harlock can get his act together, unless Craig can put the pressure on, and Charlie and Mike can start coming after these guys here. But John Boy here looking on course to become a 3-time champion of the touring cars. Day says, will Cobb get some points? Yeah, he'll get points for P13, but it's not going to do much. It really isn't going to do much. Because he'll score something like, it's not much, he'll score 7 points. So it's not the end of the world, but it's not really much of a consolation at all. He'll still be mathematical in with a shout. Captain Harlock there moving through ahead of Charlie. Captain knows he needs to chase down John Boy and finish ahead of him to keep his championship hopes realistic here. Jay currently out the front, doing what he has to do to stay in contention going into the final race. Now with John Boy as the de facto championship leader again, it means that Jay's gap to the championship leader will be 31 points going into the final race, so it's doable. Whether it's likely or not is a completely separate discussion, but I'm sure he'll give it everything regardless. It's Captain Harlock really wide there coming out of Stowe, and that's going to give Charlie the run. Charlie moves through up into 4th. Easy pickings there for Charlie Goff. But John Boy, I'd say he's got one hand on it at the moment, barring a simply catastrophic accident in the final race or in the next 4 laps as well. Captain here's got the inside, he's holding on here ahead of Charlie, but Captain's not able to really chase the guys ahead down because he's too worried about what's going on behind him here. It's preventing him from really getting it down, but here goes Charlie looking to the inside here on Captain as he makes the move there into Cobbs. So Charlie moving moving back up into 4th place. Just seeing there the Mux Nuts has retired from the race, so he was one of the championship contenders coming into tonight, but he's certainly out of the running now. We've got side by side here between Charlie and Mike as Mike's making a move down the inside into Club, and he's going to get that one done. Oh, Mike though, a bit of a slide, and that's going to give Charlie the position back, so Charlie moves through back up into P5. Can Captain try and chase down John Boy or Craig and get himself on the podium maybe? Captain Harlock 14 points behind John Boy. That gap's going to go up here going into this final race of the season, which will be underway soon in after this. I feel a little bit deflated, to be honest, after seeing Cobb's disconnection there. That is heartbreaking. It really is, because he's had a really tough season, and to get a disconnection like that with a race and a half left in the season. He'd just taken the championship lead in the first race, 11 points he had of a gap, but he's going to be something like 30 points behind. He'll actually be in a similar position to Jay. Jay and Cobb are going to be on a similar number of points. It'll be John Boy leading by quite a way. Captain Harlock will be in second. Depending on what he does over the next couple of laps, the gap's probably going to be around 20 points, something like 20 points. But yeah, I'll obviously do the maths after this. But Mutts Nuts DNFing here in this second race, so he will be scoring 0 points, and his championship is now over. So Jay's still leading here. He's got a commanding lead. It's been a dominant performance for us, to be fair, from Jay. We've barely spoken about him in this second race of the night. He's not put a foot wrong. He's done everything he's had to do, and as a result, he is going to bring this championship down to the final race, keeping himself in mathematical contention all the way until the final race. But yeah, he's currently doing the business. 5 seconds is his gap to this man here, John Boy, who's still just ahead of Craig at the moment. And there's Captain. As we see Craig a little bit deep coming through maggots. Jay a bit wide there on the exit of Stowe corner. Not that it really matters. He's got a 5 second gap. Unless he bins it into the wall, he's going to win this second race of the night. I'm still feeling a bit deflated after that incident there for Cobb. I can't get over that. I really can't. It's absolutely gutting there for him. Jay starts the final lap. Craig's still pressuring the back of John Boy. If I'll tell you what, if Craig can get ahead of John Boy, that'll take a few points off of him, and we'll give Captain Harlock a little bit less of a gap going into the final race. But John Boy just needs to really keep it cool in the final race. Oh, is Craig wide onto the grass, and it's not going to give Captain a run. Captain will be a bit closer to Craig on this final lap and might have a chance of nabbing a podium here, and that will give him a much better shout at this championship here with John Boy leading the way. But does Craig have a bit of damage? If he does, Captain will have a chance coming through the final part of this lap. The gap between Craig and Captain Harlock currently 0.8 of a second as they come down the hanger straight once again. But I'll tell you what, Craig's still on the back of John Boy, so John Boy must have made a mistake through the next corner there, which is really peculiar. They both made a mistake in the same part of the track. But Craig wide, really struggling. Captain also wide. Craig survives and stays on the back of John Boy despite that mistake as well. But here we come into the final part of the lap. Jay's just got the chicane to go. I think John Boy and Craig and Captain are going to stay in the positions that they are. It doesn't look like there's any changes really coming about at the moment. You've got Charlie running in 5th place. Mike's really dropped off at the end here. Not sure what's happened to him. Has he just kind of tuned himself out a bit? But Jay nonetheless coming through the final corner is going to take the win in the second race of the night, and he's going to keep himself in the championship battle right to the last here at Silverstone. It's going to be John Boy for second with Craig completing the podium. Captain Harlock still well within a shout of a championship here, but John Boy definitely with the upper hand, and he's got one hand on the trophy. I think, in my opinion, he would need an absolute capitulation in this final race of the season. Mike P6, Team MW 7th, Parker coming over to take P8. Revolt Detailer coming through the final chicane. He's going to take 9th place here in this second race of the night. He's a few seconds clear of Aussie Albie, who will come round to take P10, and he's just ahead of Doris Steer, who'll be the last over the line to finish in 11th. We lost the Mutts Nuts and obviously Cobb through a disconnection. So Jay taking the win ahead of John Boy and Craig. Let's quickly work this out then. So John Boy second gets 40. Who got the fastest lap? Fastest lap goes to Captain. So Captain gets the 2 bonus points. John Boy gets 45 for second. Jay gets 50 for the win. Craig, not in the championship. Captain gets 36 points. Cobb scores points for P13. So he scores 7 points. And Mutts Nuts scores Nilpa. Oh no, he scores P12, so he gets 9. 9 points for the Mutts Nuts. So, let me just quickly get this up. Also need to read out the grid order for the lads so they know where they're starting. Oh. Do you guys want to know the championship standings? I can tell you them right now. Alright, so John Boy leading on 746, 21 clear of Captain in second on 725. Cobb is third on 719, 27 points back, it's not out of the question. Jay 715, 31 points off of the back. You guys are the top 4, you're the only ones who can do it now. But it's 31 points between the 4 of you. I gave Cobb points for P13 in that one. Well, Captain's only 21 behind. So if Captain were to win, he'd need John Boy to come P6 or lower. It's not completely out of question. Yeah, it could be carnage. It could be crashes and carnage. Alright, I'm going to read the grid order, boys. So, it's going to be... Cobb, we've been doing this all season. Whenever someone disconnects, this isn't. I'm not just doing it for you on this occasion. We've done this all season. So it's going to be Cobb P1, Mutts P2, Thoris P3, Aussie P4, Leo P5, Papa P6, Team P7, Mike P8, Charlie P9, Cap P10, Craig P11, John Boy P12, Jay P13. Here we are then, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time here for season 13. We are back for the touring cars here at Motive, the final race of the season here at Silverstone Classic, with 4 drivers still in with a shout of taking this championship. Incredible season that we've had, and it's going to boil down to one of 4, with John Boy leading this championship now on 746 points. He is 21 points clear of Captain Harlock, who's in second place on 725. We've got Cobb in third on 719 after his disconnection in that second race, scoring points for P13. We've scored 7 points for his troubles nonetheless, but he's 27 points behind John Boy, who is the championship leader. Jay still mathematically in it, 31 points behind the championship leader John Boy, but he would need John Boy to finish 8th or lower, and he'd need to win. If Jay were to get the win in the fastest lap, he'd need John Boy to finish 8th or lower. So it is unlikely that Jay's going to win the championship, but if he were to do it, that's what he would need to happen. And he'd also need Captain Harlock to finish outside the top 2 as well. But anything's possible. It really is. Anything is possible here. And we're just going to find out over the next 25 minutes or so who is going to take season 13. John Boy, the championship leader, he's on the verge of taking his 3rd touring car championship here tonight. He knows what it takes, he's done it before, he's handled the pressure in the past, and currently in the prime position to do it again. They've got a former champion out there. In fact, the current champion, the 2-time champion, Mike Gaming, has won the last 2 seasons. This season racing as a reserve, not racing as a regular in the championship. As such, he's not in the reckoning. But Jay has won this championship before. He won it back in season 10. That was 3 seasons ago now. He's probably forgotten what it's like to win it. As to be fair, probably is John Boy, as he won it in, I think, season 5 and season 7, I think it was. Or it might have been season 5 and season 8, I'm not sure. All I know is it's been a while since he's won the touring car championship, but Jay won it back in season 10, which was back in August last year now. So it's a while since Jay did it, but it's even longer since John Boy did. For John Boy, it was a couple of years ago since he won his championship. So yeah, it's going to be quite a vivid, or vague sort of memory for these guys what it's like, but it's going to be a hell of a final race, I can tell you that for sure. Pablo, let's go, says D Fox. Who's Pablo? Paul's my champion, he says. Paul, yeah, Papa Rex, Dean Fox's favourite driver, out there right now doing a not bad job, to be fair, over the course of tonight. I'd say he's been putting in some decent performances. It's all on the championship battle. All eyes, at least from my side, on the championship battle here tonight. Any one of 4 in with a shout. Obviously a shame that Mutts Nuts has dropped out of contention here, but he was right in there right until the penultimate race of the season. He still had a chance at winning it. And it's now just about waiting for this practice session to end so we can finally get the visors down and get ready to go for a final time here in season 13. We'll just quickly recap again, and I will recap whilst we're on the formation lap as well. It's John Boy leading the championship on 746 points going into this final race. He's 21 points clear of Captain Harlock, who sits in second place on 725. And then in third place you've got Cobb on 719 after disconnecting from that second race. Jay on 715 in fourth place. He's only 31 points behind, as I said, so 31 points, not much really separating everyone. There's Jay there doing a 29.6, just pipping the Mutts Nuts to P1, as they are both in slipstream. Mutts Nuts there doing a good job here in this practice, but as I'll hasten to add, it is a practice. This is not a qualifying session. It will have no bearing on the grid order that we see at the start of this race. But the practice complete, so we can now jump in the race. It's now just the guys who are on laps that are stopping us from proceeding. but there's plenty of them, to be fair. Craig goes up into P6, there's a good lap there at the end, and Mike there, P2, so great lap in the slipstream there of Craig. So he moves up into second place on this leaderboard. John Boy and Mutt still pushing each other around here as they're trying to use each other's slipstream to the max. But we're just in the final knockings of this practice session here. We're moments away from the final race of this Touring Car Championship for season 13. And guys, if you are watching, I'd love to say to please drop a like on the video, as it helps us out hugely. If you've enjoyed this season in the touring cars, if you want to get involved, I'm expecting we might have a couple of spaces, because there's the last few races we haven't had full grids. So if you are interested in joining, be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com. If you want to get involved, we've got leagues on project cars too, and obviously ACC and F1 as well. ACC, we're looking to make a big expansion next season. F1 we run on Friday nights. But that is that for the practice then. Jay, Mike, Mutts, Nuts and Cobby, top 4 there in the final practice session of the season. Here we go then, it's time to get it on for the final time. We'll have one formation lap to get in order based on the results from race 2, so it'll be a reverse grid based on what we had a few moments ago. It's going to be Cobb on pole as he disconnected from race 2, so it's only fair, I think, that he gets to take his spot at the front of the grid, and he's treated as if he was the last over the line in that race 2. Mutts Nuts will be P2, having DNF a couple of laps from the end, so he completed most of the race, so he's classified as finishing in 12th place. Could be a chance for the Mutts Nuts to go out on a high, could be a chance for Cobb to put John Boy under a bit of pressure. But John Boy's got one hand on this, and unless he has a horror show of a final race of the season, John Boy should be able to take his 3rd crown, but never say never. It could be one of the others, you just never know. As Phil Hudson there in the comments, hi, you okay? Yes mate, I'm very good, thank you. I'm looking forward to this final race of the season. What a cracker of a season it's been. And it's going to be about who can hold their nerve here. John Boy leading by 21 points. As here we go then. We're just syncing up, getting ready to go for the formation lap. It's not the actual race just yet. We see a load of flashing there going on from Cobbin, who's right in the middle of the pack there. But obviously he will be leading us for this formation lap. Let's hope we can all get off the line cleanly here, guys. Yeah, no dramas whatsoever. So, just to recap one more time before we go racing for this final race of the season, it's John Boy leading the championship. He sits on 746 points. He is 21 points clear of Captain Harlock, who sits in second on 725. Cobb is in third on 719 points, with Jay in fourth on 715, only 31 points off of the championship leader. And then you've got the Mutts Nuts, who sits in 5th place on 677 points. 67 points covering the top 5. It was the 5 of them in the championship battle coming into tonight, but Mutts Nuts is now out of that battle. 67 points behind. He cannot win the championship no matter what happens here in this final race. We see Cobb flashing his lights, waving around a bit. He wants to get this underway. He wants to try and escape out the front. Try and really up the tempo in these early stages. Jay's got work to do here from P13, having won that second race in dominant fashion, you have to say. It was a sublime performance from our season 10 champion in that race just gone, but can he do a similar job that he did in the first race and cut his way through the pack here? Especially with Cobb out the front, it's going to be very difficult indeed. But I'll tell you what, anything can happen. And how is this going to pan out? So here we come then into the final chicane. We're about to go racing here for the final time this season for the Touring Car Championship here at Motive. And Cobb's can put his foot down. We're underway. as we come over the line. We are racing here for the final race of the night. In the background, I saw Revolt Detail getting a bit wrong out of the final corner, as he's got Charlie Goff looking to his outside. Mike Gaming in the midst of it as well. But Charlie Goff is going to make the move around the outside, I think, here into turn one. You can see him attacking on Team MW as he gives Park Hooper a bit of a tap there, as somebody went onto the grass there as well. Who was that? That was Revolt Detail, very much out wide there. As they come down towards Magnussen Beckett, it's Cobb leading us right now. Ahead of the Nuts. You've got Doris Deer running there in third place, ahead of Park Hooper Rex. These three have broken away actually from the rest of them. As you can see there, Aussie looking to the inside of Park Hooper, as Team MW is trying to attack here on Charlie. As he's got ahead of him, Charlie's lost out here to Mike as well. So Charlie there losing a couple of places. He's now got the championship contenders on the back of him here. But Cobb trying to break away. The Nuts and Doris Deer keeping with him at the moment. Oh, he's in the background there. Mike there spinning out. Mike onto the grass there. Got it horribly wrong. I think he got tagged in the rear coming down the hanger straight. No more dramas between anyone else at the moment. So it looks like it's Mike there on his own. Revolt Detail down to the back. Oh, as we see Team MW wide there onto the grass. Who's he crashed with there? Jay there's moving through. Oh, Jay caught up in that one a little bit. He's managed to keep it going. He's 8 seconds off for the lead, so he's got a lot of work to do here in this race. Craig, Team MW and Revolt Detail are off here at the start. Jay down to P10 has got a mountain to climb in this race, but it's Cobb leading ahead of the Nuts, followed by Doris Deer. Cobb's already got over a second of a gap, doing everything he currently has to do. John Boy's already up into 8th place, so he's already in a strong position here. He's 1 place behind Captain Harlock, who currently is in. Oh, he's now 2 places behind him because Captain Harlock's done Park Hooper up into 6th place. But John Boy currently in a solid position, no damage, 8th at the end of the first lap, so he's just doing what he has to do right now. And Jay's into the pits at the end of the first lap, and his championship is now done. What a shame for Jay here at the beginning of this final race of the season. Oh, and that's a shame to see it end like that at the end of the first lap. You've got to feel for him, but Jay into the pits. And that's going to be his championship now out of the window. So we're down to 3 who could potentially take this one for this season. Cobb out the front, leading the race. Captain in 6th and John Boy in 7th. But John Boy's got Park Hooper and Mike right behind him as they're coming into Stowe corner. Mike's looking down the inside here. Park Hooper into Stowe. And he's going to make the move. Oh, John Boy wide! Oh, he's made a huge mistake there as John Boy, but holds on to it just about. Mike Gaming now looking to the inside into Club, and is going to make that move down the inside into 7th. So John Boy down to 8th place here. Not having the most seamless of final races of the season here. He's a championship leader, but more mistakes like that and he could be slipping away from him. But Captain Harlock, in the meantime, is attacking on Charlie Goff. Goes onto the grass a little bit, but he should have that move done coming down towards the chicane. So Captain Harlock moves himself through up into 5th place. John Boy on the back of Mike still as they're coming through the chicane. But Cobb in the meantime, doing what Sebastian Vettel did in the final race of the 2010 Formula 1 season. What a season that was. He's just driving off into the distance, doing everything he needs to do. With his championship contenders currently down in the mid-pack, struggling to clear their opposition. As Captain Harlock trying to keep it around the outside of Charlie Goff here, as they're going to come down towards Magnussen Beckett's. Charlie's still got that position as Captain has to tuck in behind him for the time being. Mike's still ahead of John Boy in 7th place right now. As we're on lap 4 of the race, as we can see their Captain going for a lovely cutback there on Charlie Goff. Executes that beautifully there and moves himself through up into P5. So Captain there just ahead of these guys. There's John Boy at the back of this pack. He's got Park Hooper just behind him as well, so John Boy needs to be aware of that potential threat from him. But currently as things stand, I'll keep you all in the loop as things are at the moment. Cobb leading the race. Cobb comes into this final race 27 points behind John Boy in the standings. And obviously you get 50 points for a win. If he gets the fastest lap, then that'll be an extra 2 points. So if Cobb finishes where he is right now, he needs John Boy to finish 7th or lower. And John Boy's now got ahead of Charlie as he's looking on the outside into the chicane, but Charlie's keeping it there, all quite close between them. Charlie giving him plenty of space, doesn't want to get involved in that, and he moves up in position. So John Boy there up into 7th. So John Boy, as it stands, needs 1 more place to be in a championship taking position here, with Captain Harlock only 1 place ahead of him. Captain's not going to outscore him by anywhere near the amount that he needs to here. The Captain within 5 seconds of the leader Cobb, who is still driving off into the distance here. with this final race of the season. The Mutt Nuts there in second ahead of Doris Deer. But this pack of cars are closing in on them a little bit as Ozzy's looking around the outside of Mike here, coming through Beckett's we go into Chapel. We've got side by side here between Ozzy and Captain Harlock. In the background there, Charlie getting it horribly wrong there over the grass. Really having a bit of an excursion there, but stays ahead of Park Pooper. Park Pooper's behind him there in the slipstream. This is the battle for fourth place, which John Boy's looking to the inside here. He's trying to make the move on the inside of Captain Harlock. Captain there still staying ahead of him. Captain's going to make the move here on Ozzy Albie. And Ozzy Albie a little bit wide there onto the grass coming out of Stowe Corner. Here goes John Boy. Is he going to take the championship taking position here? No, not quite. Tucks in for the time being. Captain though getting the move done on Ozzy. Ozzy a bit wide there coming out of the club corner. John Boy's going to make the move surely here on Ozzy Albie. Round the outside they go through that fast left-hander. Captain a little bit onto the grass here. John Boy reeling him in as they're coming down towards the chicane, but John Boy for the time being not close enough to make a move here on Captain Harlock. But as things stand here in this race, John Boy in a championship taking position. As it stands right now, he'll score 28 points for a 6th spot. Cobb out of the front leading will gain 22 points on him, but John Boy would still have a 5-point gap over Cobb as things are right now. Cobb losing out on a load of points in the first race, but obviously managed to start on pole as a result of that. Charlie and Park Hoover having a bit of a battle here for 8th place right now, as Charlie not getting a great run there out of Beckett's. Through Chapel we go again. You see Mike and Doris Deer side by side here coming through club. Mike squeezing through. Doris trying to keep himself around the outside. Captain and John Boy very close in the background. Doris Deer's keeping himself there, just slightly out dragging Mike as they're still side by side. And here comes Captain Harlock as well. This is the type of situation that Captain and John Boy would be wanting to avoid at this point. As John Boy looking down the inside of Doris Deer onto the grass a little bit. And he just backs out on that one sensibly, but he's ahead of Captain, who didn't get a great run coming into the chicane. So John Boy up into P5 as he's now having to defend from Captain Harlock, who's looking around the outside into Copp's corner. John Boy and Captain, the top 2 in the championship. Captain trying to go round the outside here of Cops. Can he get that move done? He does get that move done on John Boy. And John Boy tucking in behind him for the time being. Cobb's gap to Mutt Nuts has come down a bit. The Mutt Nuts is starting to reel him in here, but the gap is still 2 seconds between them right now. Mike leading this train of cars, which is battling over the podium places. He's not too far off of the Mutt Nuts either. But Mutts has been gapping these guys over the last few laps. But John Boy, P6 at the moment. As things stand, he will take the championship. Captain looking to the inside of Doris Deer into Stowe Corner. And he makes the move there. Doris a bit wide. That will give John Boy the run. And John Boy's surely going to seize the initiative here, you would think. Doris Deer keeping it on the outside though. But John Boy here has got the move done up into 5th place. As in the foreground there, Mike very wide. And in the background, Ozzy very wide. Charlie, Park Hooper coming through your shot. But John Boy currently sat in 5th place at the moment. And as things stand, will be taking his 3rd touring car championship here at Motive. He's now looking to the outside of Captain Harlock as well. Captain is trying to defend the inside line. And just keeps ahead of him for now. Very tight race in here between these guys. But just a bit of a lowdown right now. If Captain wants to win the championship, he'd need to win the race, get the fastest lap. He needs to win the race and get the fastest lap if he wants to win this championship. He's side by side with John Boy. John Boy trying to get him here coming into Beckett's, but he holds onto it. Captain doing a good job there, putting his car in the right places. Still ahead of John Boy at the moment. John Boy going for a cutback through Chapel, but he's not going to get enough for a run down the hanger straight to overhaul 3/10 of a gap. But yeah, just a bit of a lowdown here. So Captain Harlock, if he were to win the race and get the fastest lap, and John Boy were to come P5, Oh, he would still lose. He would still lose to John Boy because he's not. He'd get 20 points on him. So actually, the captain would need John Boy to finish P6, even if he were to win and get the fastest lap. So Captain Harlock has got his work cut out. John Boy knows all he needs to do is really stick onto the back of Captain, and he'll have this championship in the bag. Cobb out the front, still doing everything right in this final race of the season. As things stand right now at this very moment in time, he will finish second in the championship to John Boy, and John Boy's got ahead of Captain, but they're side by side here through Woodcote. Oh, and they're banging doors a little bit. This is what Captain wants. Ideally, you want to have a bit of a battle with John Boy, maybe force him into a mistake here. Is that going to be Captain's strategy now? We need to keep an eye on Captain Harlock here. I know he wouldn't do it, but you know, drivers who are hungry for a championship, anything can happen. I'm sure he won't do it, but we need to make sure that nothing's going on foul play between these two. Captain there back up into 4th place again, but Thoristeer still on the back of John Boy. Certainly not. John Boy's certainly not out of a threat here from Thoristeer. Cobb's still your leader by just under 2 seconds. Cobb and the Mutsnuts matching each other for the most part, but the Mutsnuts has been gaining bit by bit here. Mike there in 3rd has got Captain and John Boy within a second of him now. As John Boy looking to the inside, coming into Stowe corner, he's got a great run. Captain sees him coming there. Captain Harlock tucks in because he knows he can't go for the cutback. So John Boy up into P4, but can Captain get a run here? Coming down towards Club corner. John Boy back up into 4th here, cementing his position as the champion-elect here. Oh, as he goes wide, coming onto the grass there out of Club, but keeps it on the road, keeps the momentum going there. Captain Harlock's got a bit of a run here. Can he make a move into the chicane? He's going to have to do it the long way if he does, because John Boy's covering the inside already here, coming down towards the chicane. Captain looking to the outside. John Boy's got that move covered off. Stays ahead for now. So there's Cobb, he leads by just under 2 seconds. Mutsnuts there second. You can see Captain Harlock and John Boy running close. Captain Harlock just squeezes through ahead of John Boy up into 4th place there. So Captain back up into P5. John Boy's got Thoristeer still on the back of him here. Is Captain playing a bit of a game here with John Boy? Is he trying to force him into a mistake maybe, to try and derail his chances in this race? It's John Boy throwing a feint to the inside here, or into Stowe corner on Captain. Is he going to make the move? Actually, it's not a feint. It's a manoeuvre there for John Boy. He goes a bit deep into the corner. Captain should be able to get the run here out of Stowe, and will out-drag him here coming down towards Club, I think. Well, John Boy's still keeping it there on the outside. I'll tell you what, this is going to be close. John Boy goes a bit deep there coming through Club, but gets it turned in nonetheless. Goes a bit wide onto the grass, but actually keeps on to 4th place there. Whilst they battle, Cobb's still out the front, still leading. John Boy a bit wide, getting a bit of a wiggle there. Thoristeer looking to try and attack here on the back of Captain into the chicane. Oh, what's happened to Cobb? Cobb's dropped to 3rd place. What has happened here to Cobb? Oh no, he was out the front controlling things here in this race. He's now behind the Mutsnuts, who now leads the final race of the season, with Mike Gaming into 2nd place. So Cobb there's dropped it and has now got to really work hard here to get himself back into the lead, which he's had since the beginning of the race. So this is an incredible development here, and John Boy now must surely be tasting his 3rd championship in the touring car division. Thorist going a bit wide, but keeping it on the track in the background, coming out of Chapel. But there's now only 3.5 seconds covering the top 6 here. So this could be anyone's race, as we've got just under 4 laps left to go here. As we see Cobb very wide there coming out of Stowe. He's got John Boy now reeling him in. John Boy's gapped Captain by over a second here. And John Boy must be thinking he's got this 3rd crown done. Bit of a flash there from John Boy on the back of Cobb, knocking on the door of a podium here in this final race of the season. scenes, says Dean Fox. Definitely so, Dean. Everyone's flashing each other here. It's getting a little bit frisky here in the final few laps of the season. But the Mutt-Nuts leads Mike, Cobb and John Boy right on the back of him here. A second separating the top 4 drivers. John Boy needs to not get involved in a dogfight here. That's the last thing he needs. He needs to just sit on the back of these guys. Just keep cool, stay calm. I relate to being in a similar position actually in the final race of the season in the GT3s last season. As we see Cobb there making a move down the inside of Mike, but does he get it completed? Mike's going to go for the cutback here out of Beckett's. Through Chapel we go. I think Mike's going to have to run down the hanger straight. John Boy is going to have to run on both of them here though. As Mike here moving ahead of Cobb down the hanger straight. But here goes John Boy, and Cobb can't move across because John Boy's on the inside. As here goes John Boy. Knows he's got the championship almost wrapped up, but he's still fighting these guys. And in the end he very sensibly just decides to sit on the back of them here. Cobb is trying to squeeze through the gap here ahead of Mike. Mike's got the inside. Cobb here looking to the inside into Club. And Cobb looking down the inside of Mike here, coming through Club. Oh, John Boy, massive slide there. Did really well to hold on to that. Could have seen his championships flashing before his eyes there. Cobb and Mike still side by side here, coming through the fast left-hander. Down towards the chicane we go. Cobb here's got the run on Mike. Down towards the chicane they go, and it's going to be Cobb back up into second place here. Can Mike get around, keep it around the outside? No, he can't. He tucks in for now. But John Boy in 4th place, and I was saying before, and I relate to this very much so, the position he's in, always Cobb wide, and that allows Mike through into second. And John Boy here might have to make the move on Cobb into the first corner, as much as he probably doesn't want to here. Captain following him through, so Cobb drops 2 places there down to 5th place. But I've said this before and I'll say it again, John Boy probably wants to be cautious here, because in the last race of the GT3s last season at Fuji, I was in a situation where I had Captain racing as a reserve. I had Ricky P, who was always quick but generally couldn't make all the races, and you know, I had them guys battling in a race at Fuji, and I just thought to myself, you know what, I'm not going to get involved in this battle. I was ahead of my championship rival Richie, who had retired. I think, well, he hadn't retired at that point. I think he was running about P6 or 7 at that point, and I knew that if I just sat in 4th place and didn't battle with them, I'd be alright. John Boy wide onto the grass there, ever so wide out of Stowe. Oh, he just keeps onto it. He's just surviving at the moment. Captain's going to move ahead of him here into Club. Cobb's still behind him. Mutz and Mike potentially going to battle it out over the win here as we're coming towards the final lap here. But it was in that race that, yeah, I just knew that I didn't want to battle with them, so I just drove around, drove my own race in 4th place, brought it home to win the championship. And John Boy here could be trying to do that here. I tell you what, he goes onto the almost in the wall there as he came out of came under the bridge. He's on the inside there of Captain, moving himself back through, but he goes a bit deep through the chicane. Captain's surely going to get the run on him out of the last corner. Captain moves through there. John Boy, bit of a slide, needs to hold it together here. I think he's getting a bit excited, knows that the championship is within reach. He's just got to drive it around one more lap of this Silverstone Classic, and he will have this championship done, and it'll be his 3rd touring car championship here at Motive Racing. You've got the other 2-time champion Mike Gaming here running in 2nd, trying to attack on the back of the Mutt-Nuts. It's going to be these 2 battling out over the win. Mike Gaming, what a shame he couldn't race in the full season this season. Oh, it's both of them wide coming out of Beckett's. But what a shame Mike Gaming couldn't race as a regular this season. He could have been in with a shout of battling with John Boy for the 3rd championship. But as it is, I think John Boy is going to be the first driver ever at Motive to win 3 touring car championships. He's on the outside of Captain Harlock, and he just squeezes around him there. Captain Harlock, I think he's going to take 2nd in the championship. It'll be Cobble finishing 3rd for this season. Mutt-Nuts and Mike Gaming going to battle it out through the final few corners, but Mutt-Nuts is going to, I think, looks like he's going to hold on here. Mike getting a great run as John Boy ever so wide there in the background, currently in a podium place. As here we come through the final few corners, the Mutt-Nuts here is going to defend the inside. Mike Gaming looking to the outside here. He's going to pull out now, and he's going to look to try and go around the outside, but the Mutt-Nuts is going to hold on. Who's going to come through the chicane first? Mutt's going a bit deep, but he's going to get it held on to. It's going to be the Mutt's Nuts taking him ahead of Mike Gaming, but John Boy is going to come over to take his third Touring Car Championship here at Motive Racing. What a season, what a job. He becomes the first driver ever to take 3 championships in the Touring Cars, all 3 of them in the Renault Megane, despite challenging himself and putting himself in a very difficult car, the Mercedes last season, the BMW the season before that. John Boy, you're 3-time champion of the Touring Cars here at Motive. Commiserations to Captain Harlock, Cobb and Jay, and also the Mutt's Nuts, who came into tonight with a shout at it. Mutt's Nuts winning the final race of the season. Well done to him. But John Boy, what a man this man is. He's done it 3 times here at Motive, almost 2 years since his last championship, but he proves that class is permanent. Form might be temporary, but class is permanent in any good sim racer. John Boy, a 3-time champion of the Touring Cars. He does it in the final race. It went down to the wire. Jay, you've got to say commiserations to him in 11th place here in his final race of the season. In a very, very battered up Renault Megane indeed there. But this man here, your man of the moment, your man of the season, your man of the championship, John Boy, is your 3-time champion of the Touring Cars. Well done to him. Well done to all of the contenders this season. And yeah, what can you say? 5 drivers in with a shout going into the final race of the season. But John Boy has done it for a 3rd time. And a huge congratulations. Well done to the Mutt's Nuts on taking the final win of the season. The championship standings, I believe, something like this. I believe John Boy the champion. I think 2nd in the championship was Captain Harlock. 3rd would have been Cobb. 4th would have been Jay. 5th would have been Mutts, I think. Or actually, maybe Mutt's Nuts might have nabbed Jay to 4th in the championship. With the win in the final race, I think Mutts might have done it. Mutts would have scored 50 points. Jay would have scored 11. So Mutts would have gained 39 points in him. Who got the fastest lap? That's a good question. Neither of them. So it would have been Mutt's Nuts, 39 point gain on Jay. What was the gap between them? Oh wow. Yeah, Mutt's Nuts nabs Jay to 4th in the championship by 1 point. So John Boy wins the championship. 2nd Captain Harlock, 3rd Cobb, and then Mutt's Nuts 4th and Jay 5th. So that is that, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks everybody for tuning in for the Touring Car Championship. As always, what a season it's been. Well done to John Boy again on being a 3-time champion. And I've really enjoyed commentating on this championship this season, and I'm hoping that we have just as much of an exciting championship next season on Project Cars 2. If you guys are interested in joining the Project Cars 2 leagues, we're running the GT5 G40 Genettas on Monday nights, and we'll be running the Touring Cars as always on Thursday night. Also, we're running on ACC on Wednesdays, Saturdays and Sundays, and F1 on Fridays. So if you guys are interested in that, www.motiveracing.com. We've got some comments coming in there. Lots of guys praising John Boy on taking the championship. Emma in the comments there saying, come on John Boy. Dave giving a bit of a clap there for John Boy and for everybody, I think. Nick Gwinnett says, great racing lads. Well done John Boy. Told you. Dean Fox there saying, well done John Boy, as is Emma. Thank you guys ever so much for tuning in as always. And we will see you in the next season. Take it easy everybody. And see ya.